The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a storm cloud made of metal. Its dark surface reflected the sun's light in ways that made human scientists scratch their heads in confusion. Commander Stone stood at the bridge of his flagship, his four-fingered hands clasped behind his back as he watched the blue planet below. "Status report," he demanded, his voice carrying the weight of someone used to being obeyed without question. "Earth's major powers are responding to our communication request," his second-in-command reported. "They're arranging an emergency meeting of their United Nations." Stone's lip curled slightly. The humans were exactly as their long-range observations had suggested, divided, fractious, but somehow managing to work together when needed. It was almost amusing. The meeting was set for noon in their New York facility. Stone had agreed to it, though he found it beneath his dignity to meet in person. Instead, he ordered a holographic projection to be set up. Let them see him tower over them. It would make negotiations shorter. When the projector hummed to life, Stone found himself facing a room full of human representatives. They seemed remarkably calm for a species making first contact. At their head stood Ambassador Wells, a man with gray hair and peaceful eyes that somehow made Stone uncomfortable. "Welcome to Earth," Wells said, spreading his arms in a gesture of peace. "We are honored to." "Let's skip the pleasantries," Stone interrupted. "I am Commander Stone of the Galactic Dominion. We have been watching your planet for some time." A murmur went through the assembled humans. Stone noticed some of them exchanging glances, but not the fearful kinds he was used to seeing. These looks seemed almost amused. "Then you know we are a peaceful planet," Wells continued, "though capable of defending ourselves if needed." Stone let out a short bark of laughter. "Peaceful. We've intercepted your military communications. We know about your secret weapons programs, your trained beasts that you keep so carefully hidden." This time, the looks the humans exchanged were definitely tinged with amusement. A woman in a military uniform even covered her mouth, though Stone couldn't tell if it was from fear or something else. "I think there might be a misunderstanding," Wells began, but Stone cut him off again. "There is no misunderstanding. We know you have bred creatures for war. Our intelligence is perfect." Stone leaned forward in his projection, his scaled face filling the human's view. "You have 2 Earth rotations to surrender your planet to the Galactic Dominion. If you refuse, we will be forced to demonstrate our own ultimate weapon." Wells cleared his throat. "Commander, I really think we should discuss this further. Perhaps if you could clarify what intelligence you've gathered." 2 rotations, Stone repeated firmly. "And if you doubt our resolve." He pressed a button, and images appeared in the air around him. Intercepted footage of human military installations, specifically the sections housing what his intelligence suggested were their beast warfare divisions. "We know where you keep them." The humans were definitely fighting smiles now. Stone felt his anger rising. Were they not taking his threat seriously? Did they not understand the power of the Galactic Dominion? "Very well," Wells said, his voice steady despite what Stone could swear was a twinkle in his eye. "We will convey your message to our governments, though I urge you to reconsider this course of action." 2 rotations, Stone said one final time, and cut the transmission. Back on his ship, Stone turned to his second-in-command. "Begin preparations to deploy the behemoth. These humans need to learn respect." "Sir," his officer said hesitantly, "are you sure? The intelligence about their beasts is unclear at best. Did you see how they reacted? They're hiding something. They think their war beasts can match our behemoth." Stone walked to the window, watching Earth spin below. "Well, let them think that. In 2 rotations, they'll learn the true meaning of beast." As his crew rushed to follow his orders, Stone couldn't shake the memory of those amused looks. What were these humans hiding? Why weren't they afraid? He would find out soon enough. Commander Stone paced the bridge of his ship, his heavy boots making dull thuds against the metallic floor. The first Earth rotation had passed, and still no surrender message from the humans. On the main screen before him, Surveillance footage played on a loop. "Play it again," he ordered, eyes fixed on the images. His intelligence team had gathered these clips from various military bases around the planet. The footage showed fenced compounds, guards at high alert, and mysterious figures leading what must be their war beasts in and out of reinforced buildings. The creatures themselves were always hidden under covers or moved in sealed transport vehicles. Clearly, the humans were protecting their secret weapons. "Sir," his intelligence officer spoke up, "we've intercepted more communications. The humans are mobilizing their K9 units to major cities." Stone's scaled fingers tapped against the command console. K9. Their code name for the beasts, no doubt. "Show me their military strength assessment." A holographic display sprang to life, showing Earth's defensive capabilities. Stone studied the numbers with growing frustration. On paper, the humans' technology was far behind the galactic dominions. Their ships couldn't leave their own solar system. Their weapons were primitive, yet they remained unnervingly calm in the face of invasion. "The beast units must be their trump card," Stone muttered. Why else would they be so confident? His second-in-command, Officer Reed, approached with a datapad. "Commander, we've decoded more transmissions. Listen to this one." An audio clip played through the bridge speakers. "K9 teams, Alpha through Delta. Maintain position. These dogs are our first line of defense. Remember your training." Stone's eyes narrowed. Dogs. Another code word. "Sir," Reed hesitated, "our linguistic analysis suggests." "Never mind that." Stone cut him off. "What matters is they're preparing their beasts for battle. Well, so can we." He straightened his uniform and pressed a button on his command chair. "Bring up the behemoth containment chamber." The main screen changed to show a massive holding bay deep within the ship. Inside a reinforced energy field, something huge stirred in the shadows. Even through the video feed, its growls made the bridge crew shiver. "The ultimate achievement of Dominion bioengineering," Stone said proudly. "Bigger than their largest land vehicle, stronger than their strongest bunker buster bombs, and completely under our control." Reed shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, about the control systems." "The neural limiters are functioning perfectly," Stone snapped. "I want the behemoth ready for deployment the moment our ultimatum expires." "Commander," a communications officer called out, "incoming transmission from Earth." Stone smiled. "Ah, their surrender at last. Put it through." Ambassador Wells's face appeared on screen, still wearing that irritating, calm expression. "Commander Stone, we've discussed your demands with Earth's governments. And we decline to surrender," Wells said simply, "though we again urge you to reconsider your threatened demonstration." Stone slammed his fist on his chair's armrest. "You foolish creatures, do you think your hidden beasts can save you? We've seen your bases, intercepted your commands about these K9 units." For a moment, something like concern flickered across Wells's face. But was it concern, or was he trying not to smile? "Commander," Wells said carefully, "I really think you should review your intelligence about." "Enough," Stone roared. "You had your chance. In one rotation, we will unleash a force unlike anything your world has ever seen. Then we'll see how your precious dogs fare against a real beast." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "Begin final preparations. When the behemoth is released, I want those beast training facilities to be its first targets. We'll destroy their secret weapons before they can even deploy them." As his crew rushed to comply, Stone watched the tactical display showing the locations of Earth's K9 facilities. Soon, very soon, he would wipe that confident look off their faces. What he didn't notice was Reed quietly reviewing the linguistic analysis of the word dog with growing alarm. Mike Thompson scratched behind Rex's ears as they watched the alien ship glowing in the evening sky. The German shepherd leaned into his touch, tail wagging gently, but his ears remained alert. Even now, during a break, Rex stayed vigilant. Exactly what you'd expect from a top military working dog. "You seeing this, boy?" Mike asked softly, Looks like we might have an interesting day tomorrow. Rex looked up at him with intelligent brown eyes, then back at the sky. After 15 years as a canine handler, Mike had learned to trust his dog's instincts. Right now, Rex was calm but focused, a good sign. Their radio crackled to life. All K9 units report to Command Center. Priority Alpha. Mike stood up, brushing grass off his uniform. Come on, Rex. Duty calls. The Command Center was buzzing with activity when they arrived. Other handlers and their dogs were already gathered. Jack with his Belgian Malinois Scout, Lisa with her Dutch Shepherd Max, and several more teams Mike knew well. Colonel Roberts stood before them, his face serious but with a hint of amusement in his eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've all seen our visitors. He gestured to the window where the alien ship was visible. They seemed to have some interesting ideas about our K9 program. A screen behind him showed intercepted alien communications. Mike couldn't help but smile as he read their assumptions about secret war beasts. Next to him, Rex sat perfectly at attention, the very picture of military discipline. They're going to deploy something they call the Behemoth, Roberts continued. Intel suggests it's some kind of bioengineered creature, big, nasty, and according to them, unstoppable. He paused, looking at each handler in turn. They're targeting our K9 facilities first. Jack raised his hand. Sir, they really think our dogs are some kind of super weapons. Apparently so. Roberts couldn't quite hide his grin. And we're not correcting that assumption just yet. Sometimes the best advantage is letting your opponent underestimate you, or in this case, misunderstand you completely. Mike looked down at Rex, who looked back with those calm, intelligent eyes. Together they tracked down bombers, found lost children, and secured countless dangerous areas. Not with super strength or massive size, but with intelligence, training, and the unbreakable bond between handler and dog. Your assignments, Roberts said, pointing to a tactical map. We're positioning K9 teams at key points around every major city. When they deploy their Behemoth, we'll be ready. Mike studied his assigned position, the eastern approach to the city, near where their intelligence suggested the aliens might deploy their creature. Rex's tail wagged slightly as Mike checked his tactical vest and equipment. Remember your training, Roberts said. These dogs have taken down armed criminals, found explosives that could level buildings, and saved countless lives. Size isn't everything. Trust your partners, trust your training. As the briefing ended, Mike knelt beside Rex, doing a final check of his dog's protective gear. What do you think, boy? Ready to show some aliens what Earth's war beasts can really do? Rex's reply was a soft woof and a lick to Mike's face, making nearby handlers laugh. Thompson, Roberts called as they were leaving. Your team has the best track record with unusual situations. Keep your radio on. When that thing appears, we'll need your experience. Mike nodded, feeling Rex press against his leg in that familiar, reassuring way. Whatever this Behemoth turned out to be, they'd face it together, just like they'd faced everything else. As they walked to their assigned position under the alien-filled sky, Mike couldn't help but wonder what Commander Stone would think when he finally saw Earth's secret weapons in action. The aliens were about to learn an important lesson about underestimating both humans and their four-legged partners. Rex trotted beside him, alert and ready, every inch the professional military dog. No super-powered monster, no engineered beast, just centuries of partnership, training, and trust distilled into 50 kilos of highly trained German Shepherd. Sometimes, Mike knew, that was all you needed. The ground shook as something massive descended from the alien ship. Commander Stone's voice boomed across the city through floating broadcast devices. Behold, humans, the might of the galactic dominion. Mike and Rex watched from their position as a massive container landed in the city's eastern district. It was bigger than a football field, its metal surface gleaming in the morning sun. Around them, buildings had been evacuated, leaving the streets eerily empty. All K9 units maintained position, crackled Colonel Roberts' voice over the radio. "Wait for visual confirmation of the target." Rex's ears perked forward, but he remained perfectly still beside Mike. Years of training showed in every line of his body. Across the empty streets, Mike could see other handler teams in position. Jack and Scout behind a police barricade, Lisa and Max near the park entrance. The container's sides fell away with a thunderous crash. Mike's breath caught in his throat. The behemoth was massive. It stood taller than a 3-story building. Its 6 legs thick as tree trunks. Its head was a nightmare of teeth and armored plates, with multiple eyes that glowed an angry red. A tail covered in spikes swung behind it, leaving cracks in the pavement. "Now," Stone's voice rang out, "where are these war beasts you've hidden? Let them face our ultimate weapon." Colonel Roberts' calm voice came over the radio. "All units, execute pattern Delta. Thompson, take point." Mike touched his throat mic. "Copy that." He looked down at Rex, who was watching the behemoth with focused intensity. "Ready, boy." Rex's soft woof was barely audible. Mike stepped out from their cover, Rex moving perfectly in step beside him. Across the zone, other handlers did the same. 12 teams in total, each handler with their dog walking calmly into view. There was a moment of absolute silence. Then Commander Stone's voice returned, confusion evident even through the broadcast. What are these tiny creatures? Where are your war beasts?" Mike raised his hand, giving Rex the silent command to sit. All around the zone, other dogs did the same, a perfect display of discipline. "These," Ambassador Wells's voice joined the broadcast, "are our K9 units, Commander Stone. The war beasts your intelligence detected." The behemoth took a thundering step forward, its bulk casting shadows over the street. One of its many eyes focused on Rex, who remained sitting calmly, watching the creature with professional interest. "This is a joke." Stone's voice cracked with anger. "You face our ultimate weapon, with pets." "Demonstration teams," Roberts radioed. "Show them what Earth's pets can do." Mike gave Rex the hand signal. The German Shepherd sprang into action, moving with incredible speed and precision. Other dogs did the same, each team executing their practiced maneuvers. They weren't attacking. Not yet, just demonstrating their training and coordination. The behemoth's multiple eyes tried to track the dogs, its massive head swinging back and forth as the smaller, faster animals moved around it. It took a step forward, then back, clearly confused by the coordinated movements. "Impossible," Stone muttered over the broadcast. "Their size. They're so small." Mike watched Rex navigate the tactical space perfectly, never missing a signal, moving exactly where needed. The behemoth might be bigger than a house, but Rex had something it didn't. Centuries of evolution alongside humans, years of careful training, and an unbreakable bond with his handler. The alien creature let out a roar that shattered windows, but the dogs didn't even flinch. They trained with explosions, gunfire, and every other distraction humans could think of. A loud noise, no matter how big its source, wasn't going to break their focus. "Commander Stone," Ambassador Wells's voice was calm but carried a hint of pride. "Perhaps we should discuss the true meaning of strength. Size isn't everything. Let us show you what real partnership can achieve." Mike patted his leg, and Rex returned instantly to his side, alert and ready. Around them, other handlers and their dogs stood ready, a perfect picture of Earth's finest K9 teams. The real demonstration was about to begin. The behemoth charged forward, its massive feet cracking the pavement. Commander Stone's voice rang with triumph. "Now watch as your tiny beasts are crushed." Mike's hand signals were calm and precise. Rex moved like a shadow, darting between the monster's legs. Around them, other K9 teams executed their own moves with perfect coordination. Each dog knew exactly where to be, responding instantly to their handler's commands. "Pattern Echo," Colonel Roberts ordered through the radio. "Thompson, take lead." Mike whistled sharply. Rex immediately began the practiced routine, with other dogs following his lead. They moved in complex patterns around the behemoth's legs, their movements quick and purposeful. The giant creature tried to track them, its multiple eyes spinning in different directions. What are they doing?" Stone's voice had lost its confidence. The answer became clear as the behemoth tried to turn, following the dog's movements. Its massive size worked against it. The more it tried to keep track of the small, fast-moving targets, the more confused it became. Its 6 legs began to tangle with each other. "Good boy, Rex," Mike murmured into his mic, giving another hand signal. Rex darted forward, drawing the creature's attention while Scout and Max moved into position behind it. The behemoth roared in frustration, its spike-covered tail swinging wildly. But the dogs were too well-trained, too coordinated. Not a single swing came close. Years of agility training showed in every dodge and weave. "Impossible," Stone shouted. They're just running around." "Attack them," he commanded his creature. But the behemoth was becoming more confused by the second. Its movements grew clumsy as it tried to follow multiple targets at once. The K9 teams had trained for years to work together, while the alien creature was used to simply overwhelming its opponents with size and strength. "Now," Roberts ordered, "Phase 2. Mike pulled out a small object from his tactical vest, a simple tennis ball, bright yellow against the gray street. Rex's eyes locked onto it instantly, but he maintained his position. Other handlers produced similar toys and training tools. "Are they playing?" Stone's voice was incredulous. Mike threw the ball, letting it bounce off the behemoth's leg. Rex chased it with perfect precision, letting out an excited bark, the first sound any of the dogs had made since the confrontation began. Other handlers did the same, their dogs responding with practiced enthusiasm. The behemoth froze, completely baffled by this new development. Its programming had prepared it for combat, for resistance, for warfare. Nothing had prepared it for dogs playing fetch around its feet. "Look at their coordination." Ambassador Wells's voice came over the broadcast, aimed at Stone. "Look at how they respond to every command, how they work together. This is what centuries of partnership looks like, Commander." The behemoth tried to step backward, away from the confusing display of playful discipline. Its leg caught on a piece of broken pavement, and the massive creature stumbled. The dogs seamlessly adjusted their positions, never missing a beat in their choreographed movements. "Sir," a new voice joined the alien broadcast. "Officer Reed." The linguistic analysis was correct. These are their companion animals, their partners. They're not super weapons, they're something far more impressive. Mike watched as Rex completed another perfect maneuver, the tennis ball still in his mouth, his movements precise despite the apparent play. The other dogs maintained equally perfect form, making the enormous behemoth look clumsy and confused in comparison. "This is the true strength of Earth's K9 units," Ambassador Wells said. "Not size, not brute force, but intelligence, training, and trust. Perhaps now would be a good time to discuss peace terms." The behemoth had completely stopped moving, its programming unable to handle the situation. Above them, the alien ship hung silent in the sky as Commander Stone witnessed his ultimate weapon rendered helpless not by force, but by the perfect partnership between humans and their oldest friends. Commander Stone watched the scene below in stunned silence. His mighty behemoth, the pride of Dominion bioengineering, stood motionless while Earth's dogs continued their perfectly coordinated movements around it. On his bridge, the crew stared at their screens in amazement. "Sir," Officer Reed approached with a data pad, "I've completed the full analysis of Earth's K9 programs. You need to see this." Stone took the pad, his scaled fingers trembling slightly as he read. The pictures showed dogs in various roles, searching through rubble after disasters, finding hidden explosives, guarding important locations, even helping heal sick humans in hospitals. "They're not weapons," Reed explained quietly. "They're partners. These creatures chose to work with humans thousands of years ago. Everything they do by choice. Below, Mike Thompson and Rex demonstrated this partnership perfectly. The German Shepherd responded to the slightest hand movement, the smallest gesture. Other handlers and their dogs showed similar bonds, moving together like dancers in a well-practiced performance. "Impossible," Stone muttered, but there was wonder in his voice now, not anger. "No bioengineering, no neural controls." "None, sir. Just training, trust, and what they call friendship." Reed pointed to more images on the pad. "Look at their history. Humans didn't create these animals in labs like we made the behemoth. They earned their trust over generations. Every dog down there works with humans because it wants to." The behemoth made another confused movement, its massive bulk swaying uncertainly. One of its legs slipped, and it might have fallen if it hadn't frozen completely. The dogs, meanwhile, moved with perfect grace and precision, never missing a step despite the unstable ground. "Sir," the communications officer called out, "Ambassador Wells is requesting to speak with you." Stone nodded, still watching the scene below. Wells's face appeared on the screen, wearing that same calm expression that had irritated Stone earlier. Now, though, the commander understood the reason for that calmness. "Commander Stone," Wells said, "I believe now would be a good time to discuss what you've learned about Earth's K9 units." "How?" Stone asked simply. "How do you maintain such perfect control without neural implants?" "We don't control them at all," Wells replied. "We work with them. Every dog you see down there is a volunteer, working with their human partner because of trust and training. Something your behemoth, for all its size and strength, can never understand." Stone looked at the data pad again, studying an image of a small dog comforting a crying child. Another showed a dog leading a blind human safely through a busy street. Each picture showed a different kind of strength, not the brute force he had valued so highly, but something far more impressive. "The behemoth was designed to be the ultimate weapon," he said slowly. "But these dogs, they're not weapons at all, are they?" "No," Wells agreed. "They're family, partners, friends, and that makes them far more effective than any weapon could ever be." Below, Mike Thompson gave a simple command, and Rex returned instantly to his side. Other dogs did the same, each one showing perfect discipline and obvious joy in their work. The behemoth remained frozen, its programming unable to process or counter this display of willing cooperation. Stone straightened his uniform. "Ambassador Wells, I believe I owe your species an apology. And perhaps we have much to learn from you." "We'd be happy to teach you," Wells replied, "starting with the proper way to appreciate a good dog." For the first time since arriving at Earth, Commander Stone felt a smile tugging at his scaled lips. The mighty galactic dominion, with all its advanced technology and bioengineering, had just been taught a lesson by creatures who worked for nothing more than praise and the occasional tennis ball. Perhaps, he thought, watching Rex perform another perfect maneuver, that was the greatest show of strength of all. 2 days after the behemoth incident, Commander Stone stood in the middle of the K9 training facility, watching with fascination as Mike Thompson worked with Rex. The German Shepherd moved through an obstacle course, climbing walls, crawling under barriers, and following complex commands with perfect precision. "Amazing," Stone muttered, his four-fingered hands clasped behind his back. And all without any technological assistance. Ambassador Wells stood beside him, smiling as Rex completed the course and returned to Mike's side. "Would you like to meet him properly?" Stone's scales shifted color slightly, the equivalent of a nervous blush. "Is it safe?" Mike approached with Rex walking calmly at his side. "Rex, gentle," he commanded softly. The dog sat perfectly still, looking up at the alien commander with intelligent eyes. "You can pet him," Mike said. "He won't move unless I tell him to." Stone slowly extended his hand. Rex sniffed it carefully, then pushed his head gently against the alien fingers. The commander's eyes widened at the soft feel of fur, so different from scales or bioengineered armor. "Good boy," Mike said, and Rex's tail started wagging. Stone pulled his hand back in surprise, then reached out again, marveling at how the dog remained calm despite his alien appearance. "We've already begun decommissioning the behemoth program," Stone said, still petting Rex. "Our scientists are quite interested in studying your training methods instead." Speaking of which, Ambassador Wells gestured toward the facility's main building, where Officer Reed was attending a basic handler training session. The alien officer was sitting in a circle with new human handlers, each with a puppy in training. "Reed seems quite taken with your program," Stone observed, watching his officer carefully offer a treat to a young Belgian Malinois pup. "He has a natural touch," Mike agreed. "The dogs seem to like him, scales and all." In the distance, the behemoth stood powered down in its container, ready to be returned to the Dominion ships. It would be the last of its kind. The Galactic Council had already approved a new direction for their bioengineering program, one focused on partnership rather than control. "You know," Wells said thoughtfully, "Earth would be happy to establish a permanent K-9 training exchange program with the Dominion. There's so much we could learn from each other." Stone watched as Rex performed another series of commands, each movement precise yet flowing naturally. "Your species surprised us, Ambassador. We came expecting war beasts and found teachers instead." "The best surprises are the ones that make us grow," Wells replied. "And speaking of surprises," he nodded to Mike. Mike pulled out a familiar yellow tennis ball. Rex's ears perked up immediately, but he maintained his sitting position, waiting for permission. Stone watched in amazement at this display of self-control. "Would you like to try?" Mike offered the ball to Stone. The commander of the mighty Galactic Dominion, who had arrived ready to conquer Earth, found himself throwing a tennis ball across the training field. Rex waited for Mike's command, then shot off like a rocket, catching the ball with perfect timing and bringing it right back to the alien commander. "Well done," Stone said, his voice filled with genuine wonder as he took the ball from Rex's gentle mouth. "Ambassador Wells, I believe this is the beginning of a very interesting partnership between our peoples." "Indeed," Wells agreed. "Though I should warn you, once you start playing fetch with a dog, it's very hard to stop." Stone looked down at Rex's expectant face, then at the ball in his hand, and finally up at the stars where his ships waited in orbit. The Galactic Dominion had come to Earth looking for powerful beasts and found something far more valuable, a lesson in true strength, partnership, and the power of trust freely given. "In that case," Stone said, throwing the ball again and watching Rex dash after it with joy, "I believe I have much to learn."